I've learned from one lender who did this that whenever it's a slow moment or a slow week for the virtual assistant, they have their virtual assistant call their partners leads as well.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Loan Officer Growth, the podcast that helps loan officers grow their business, increase their success, have more freedom, and be just all around awesome. Speaking of awesome, today we have Gerard on the call. Gerard is with Remote Assistant Scout, and Gerard knows everything VAs, and we're actually going to talk today about why right now, and now being when we're recording this, it's January of 2024. Why January of 2024 is the best time to hire a virtual assistant. Hey, Gerard, how are you?
I'm great. It's 10 p.m. here in the Philippines. So good morning and good evening, everybody. Thank you for having me again.
You bet, you bet. So now's the best time to hire a virtual assistant. Why is that? Give me one of I think we came up with 5 really good reasons why now is the best time. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so essentially there are 5 reasons or essential reasons why hiring during the beginning of the year would be the best time to hire a virtual assistant, not just for lenders, but just for all entrepreneurs for that matter. That could be
Right.
realtors, investors, or coaches, authors, or publishing. So really, when talking about having a virtual assistant placed to lenders, the number one reason that we find that lenders are hiring virtual assistant is, they're using them or utilizing them for phone calls. And the phone calls could be segregated into, 3 to 4 different areas. And the first area is, setting up with new realtors, or more like really prospecting with new realtors in your local market. And when we say new realtors, these are top producing realtors that are not yet in your radar.
Qualified.
So, qualified realtors. And the main responsibility of virtual assistant is just to set these appointment, having an access to your calendar, follow the script, and do some follow through after the lender meeting the prospect realtor. And not just with new realtors, some lenders are utilizing virtual assistants to cultivate as well, their current relationship with their current realtor partners. So typically, I find that lenders would have call their or have their virtual assistant call their realtor partners like every month, if necessary, just to cultivate a relationship, or perhaps set another appointment with them, just to meet for coffee or what have you. Just cultivating and nourishing that business relationship with them.
Right.
And
Yep, and I've found in the past that January seems to be the best month to get these realtor appointments because I guess agents are getting going with their business, they're coming up with their new year plan, and things are a little slower in January, so they're apt to meet with the loan officer much more than other times of the year. So I found that January is the best month for that.
Mhm. And also, speaking about phone calls, this is just boxed into, calling realtors, but perhaps, calling your database as well, if this is something that's allowed in your company. So not just, the past client database, but the new and current leads. So
Yep.
this has been a practice by the other loan officers that whenever they hire a freedom caller or a virtual assistant who could handle phone support, it's not just limited into calling those new realtors, but they could act as receptionists and take some messages for you. If you're unavailable, you can just forward your call into a third party vendor that that offers that service. Like for example, Ring Central, that is being utilized in our company as well. that, those lenders are not, if they're too busy, if they're in a meeting, and then it automatically forwards the call to the virtual assistant, and, they just receive the call, and, calling their past client database as well, just for check-in and for referrals too. So that is very huge, because you don't know, if you tend to keep those happy clients, you're really top of their mind if in any case they know somebody is looking to purchase a home and, do some financing. Right, Richard?
Yep, love it. You're spot on with that.
Mhm.
Yeah, having a freedom caller, somebody that can answer the phone, somebody that can make outbound calls, somebody that can set appointments, whether they're people that are wanting to buy, sell, or refi, or if they are the realtor
Mhm.
partners, that's huge for a loan officer to double themselves by having that virtual assistant make calls.
Mhm. So that's the beauty of hiring a virtual assistant or freedom caller, because then again, their responsibilities could be very dynamic and change over time. So they're not just limited into phone calls only, in contrast to hiring call centers that, their responsibilities are going to be defined as just phone support and nothing else. They're just going to do some phone calls for you and literally nothing else. In
Right.
contrast to a virtual assistant direct, you could assign other tasks and delegate some other tasks to the virtual assistant if in any case, this current responsibility has already been saturated. And then again, with phone calls, you know, I've learned from one lender who did this, that whenever it's a slow moment or a slow week for the virtual assistant, they have their virtual assistant call their partners leads as well. So the realtor partners. So for example, if you have plus A or A plus plus realtor partners, you can just negotiate with them that, hey, realtor, I have this virtual assistant or telemarketer that could help, you know, do some telemarketing calls for you and post as your own virtual assistant. And it's a win-win situation for us because, if at any point you're fortunate that this lead is currently active and looking for houses, and then the realtor can just come in, and the lender himself can come in as well and help with the process.
Yeah, definitely. That's great strategy too.
Mhm. So that's really the first, at the top of the list responsibilities, or why, January could be the best time. It's the best time to hire a freedom caller and, have everything planned up for you for the rest of the year. Like, for example, you could just, customize your own marketing or telemarketing plan for your past database. I mean, how often does this virtual assistant need to call them? Because
Right.
I know some lenders that have their virtual assistants call their past client database like every 3 months. So that's 4 times a year.
Yep.
And about what's your marketing plan for new clients? What will happen if, the virtual assistant would set an appointment with a new client? What would happen if the new client is not ready yet to undergo the process at this point? I mean, do you have a customized plan for that? That's where, hiring a virtual assistant, it also creates accountability for you to do this marketing plan because you already have the help. And it's just really more of, implementing whatever's in your mind or whatever you learned from your mentors. So that's the number two reason. It's the beginning of the year. It would be the great time for you to hire, onboard, and train your virtual assistant with whatever marketing plan you learned for yourself or, from your mentors.
Yep. You're spot on with that. Number two is onboarding training in January, having the VA help build out that marketing plan and have it prepared for the entire year. And then what happens is it just becomes automated. So the virtual assistant knows what to do for the entire year. And for the loan officer, it's automated because the VA is taking care of it.
Yes, and you get to be consistent. Everybody in your radar will feel that you are a consistent lender, that you have a consistent, team members, and
Right.
most likely they will work with you if they could realize that, or at some point they will realize that, everybody's in your team is synced and consistent.
That's awesome.
Mhm. And the third reason, Richard, is really, there are more experienced candidates during at this time, because you know why? It has been a trend in the last 3 to 4 years that, layoffs are being, are being done at the end of the year. So I don't know why, but just basing on our inventory at this point, we received like more than 20 cancellations from other clients and some layoffs. So this would be the best time to, to hire an experienced VA than other times of the year.
Right. So there's
So when
more
I say,
more experienced VAs out there
Mhm.
right now than any time of the year.
And when I say experienced VAs, these are the VAs that have been working with with mortgage lenders,
Right.
and doing all of the tasks and responsibilities for them, either for phone calls, for email marketing, for social media, for database management. So that's all covered basically. Because then again, as what I mentioned, it's very a dynamic process. It could change over time. You may hire a telemarketer initially, but when the tasks have been saturated or your realtor list are saturated, so you can move on to other tasks like either video marketing or maybe helping you out with following up with clients under your pipeline for loan processing.
Right. Right. Hey, let's talk about that real quick because we've noticed a lot of loan officers hiring virtual assistants for that process part of the business, the loan process. What are you seeing? What are some of these loan officers hiring their VAs to do?
So really, it's just more of coordinating with with the clients with the initial documentation if it has been received or it has been sent to the lender. So really, the completion of the documents that's needed and coordinating with with title partners, with insurances, or and doing some scheduling.
And
So and organizing everything in their database, organizing the files into different Dropbox folders that's that could be readily accessible for the rest of the team. Because I know somebody who's I know a lender client, or we helped a lender client hire a VA who help them with loan processing. So it's like
right.
that VA is working overnight to gather and somehow organize all of the files and get them ready for the next day for the team to access.
Oh, so they're indexing files and preparing VOEs and things like that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So it
that's
totally depends as to what's allowable or allowed in your company, but
right.
it's just more of those non-money making activities, or the tedious job of organizing everything and getting everything complete, so you'll have a smooth and faster transaction.
Yeah, well, they're doing things that are busy work and allowing the loan officer to do more money making activities and prospecting. So I really
Mhm.
like that. Instead of getting bogged down in the chasing paperwork and chasing
Yeah.
docs and things like that, the virtual assistant takes care of all of that and so the loan officer can focus directly on prospecting. So
I
I
think
really like that coming in the morning and seeing that your virtual assistant has already sent an email to your borrowers asking exactly what docs are needed. The docs that have come in have already been indexed and put in the proper folders. So literally the loan officer can feel that feeling of, okay, great. Now I can focus on what brings in more business and less
Mhm.
stress. So I love that. That's awesome.
And the fourth reason, Richard, I've mentioned this before. Now that you hire a virtual assistant and you have somebody to implement everything that you've thought of, or your marketing ideas, and then that's where helping or have the virtual assistant help you out build and implement your marketing plan for the year. So what's going to be the marketing plan totally depend on you. So I find other lenders, is what I've mentioned earlier, that they have like a strategic timing whenever they do the phone calls. Like for example, for past client database, I've had lenders have their VAs call every 3 months, or I've had another lender have them call every 6 months. However, the mainly or the monthly mailing campaigns, it's being implemented as well by the virtual assistant.
Right.
So totally depend as to what's readily available
Yep. Implementing the marketing campaigns, putting together the entire year plan, which is huge, huge for the virtual assistant to put that plan together. Because like I said earlier, basically what will happen is it will allow that to be automated and just happen. So imagine your year already planned out. You don't have to worry about what needs to be done and when. It just gets done automatically.
Mhm.
I love that. So what was number 5? I think we've already talked about 6 or 7, but what was number 5? Helping set up the database for the year?
Yeah, so databases. So these are one of the struggles of loan officers as well, and that, they can just keep their databases organized. So when I say databases, either in Excel form, Google Sheets, Excel sheets, or maybe within your CRMs.
Right.
So that's where the you come in and ensure that everything is correct. All of the information are correct. All of the information are updated, either your realtor partners or um, your client database. And that's another plan as well. I've had one lender, for example, when they hired a virtual assistant and calling their past client database, aside from asking for referrals, it's an automatic thing that, they would ask for updated email address, or if the email address and file is still correct or is still accurate.
Right.
And that's where they can set up, monthly email campaigns and, send those out automatically to your leads or to your realtor partners.
It's another top of mind touch point for the loan officer, because when the VA calls, they're calling on behalf of the loan officer. So it's just another touch, another top of mind, and another chance to ask for referrals.
Mhm. So you're actually hitting multiple stones in one time, like, having a telemarketer, updating, your database, organizing everything, and as well as, putting people into automated email campaigns, or now other CRMs are offering, SMS blasting. So, this can also be set up by the virtual assistant. So
Right.
this is the limit.
It really is. And we didn't touch on so many things that a VA can do for you. Um, so let's say I'm a loan officer listening to this podcast, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm ready to hire a virtual assistant. How can Remote Assistant Scout help with that?
Yeah, so you can actually set up a meeting. The link will be provided here below. So you can just check it out, or you can go to remoteassistantscout.com, and you can schedule a call there, and our team members will be in standby, and and give you a call on your preferred date and time, and we can discuss if hiring a virtual assistant will be for you, and everything else should follow. So
Cool.
again, that's remoteassistantscout.com, and the link will be here, down here.
Awesome. So sign up for a free strategy
Yeah.
call, basically.
No
Nice.
obligation strategy phone call.
Very, very cool. All right, Gerard. Well, this was awesome. Top 5 reasons why now is the best time to hire a virtual assistant. And trust me, later on this year, you'll be thanking me and thanking Gerard that you did hire one in January. So awesome. Any last thoughts before we get off?
No.
Nope. No last thoughts. Okay, that's awesome. Thank you
Just
so
schedule
much
the
for
call and we'll take it from there.
perfect. Thank you, Gerard. Appreciate you.
Thank you.